All right, so I am back watching the One Piece movies. I went with Stampede this time. I had originally planned to watch Film Gold, but something came up and I didn't have access to it, but Stampede was available. So I'm just like, all right, let's do that. Mixed feelings. Starting with the positives, I love the exorbitant amount of characters in this who I love, like so many characters that I don't see as often as I want in the main series showed up in this movie, and I was just so excited to see all of them. I'm very much a character-focused reader and watcher, and it's like character dynamics when they interacted with each other, and that was probably my biggest complaint for this, because although their personalities were right for who they were, their dynamics between other characters weren't a focus. Like, characters would interact, and it's just like, or show up together, and like, you two should be enemies, have some kind of animosity towards each other. Why are you acting like you're just another villain after the same treasure as you? It doesn't feel like they're talking to another character that they have history with. That was my main issue there. The other being that we did not spend... There's so many characters, you couldn't spend time with any of them. They'd show up, have their cameo, have a really quick moment in a fight, and then we're off to the next character. I also like a very, good focus to the plot. I don't like meandering plot lines. I want a focused story. And I would prefer that focus and main goal of the story be a little bit more complex or a little bit more entertaining than just defeat the big bad. So the fact that this was essentially just a big giant fight was not to my personal taste. So for those reasons, Stampede is good. It is not my favorite. It's my least favorite of the One Piece movies, but I've only ever seen 3. So my favorite being the Baron Omatsu movie 6. It's horror. I love horror. And then Film Red I've watched, so that's going to be in the middle there, and Stampede just slightly below my enjoyment of Film Red. But there were a lot of things I liked. First of all, Nami and Robin look beautiful. I love the characters. I love how they all have different outfits. Sanji's outfits, Brooke was awesome, Frankie, my darling boy Luffy. I love all the character designs in the movies. But specifically Nami and Robin, they look so pretty. What else? I like the opening for Impel Down. If you haven't noticed, we've gone on to spoilers. Sabo, Angel, Crocodile, darling, love seeing him. Buggy was a delight, always falling upwards. It was just very much an action-driven story, so I don't have very many character moments to say, with the exception of Usopp. Oh my god, highlight of this movie, had his moment. And that leads me to all the callbacks and feelings and emotions from the original series. So when he got attacked and he's being held by that bullets guy, it reminds me so much of Water 7. There were so many little moments in this movie that just made me reflect back on the things that happened in the main series. I don't know if it was a direct callback, inspiration for, or information from that moment specifically, but it definitely worked. I'm also aware this came out long before Egghead. I'm assuming before the manga of Egghead. I didn't actually look at the dates though. But there were little things that made me think of Egghead as well. The main being when we're first introduced, they're at a festival. It's a pirate festival where they're like, hey, don't tell the Marines, let's all get together, have a treasure hunt, and you can kill or murder each other if you want. So they're after the treasure of Gold Roger. And there's this lady who can do holograms, and she's pretty much just there so they can have a really epic moment at the very end. But it made me think of Egghead, where, without too much spoilers, for Egghead, there are holograms on that island. And it was a heavy focus of what is real, and it just felt like it should be a more focus of that arc that we haven't really got to yet. So I see in holograms made me think of the holograms in Egghead that didn't have quite a payoff that I'm waiting for yet. I really need to reread Egghead. It also has, Luffy and Chopper eating a bunch of food and they get big round like they do in Egghead. So I'm like, there's little moments, and I don't know why, it just reminds me so much of Egghead. The knock-up stream, which I love because it goes right into, tinfoil hat theories of the world, where my interpretation is ancient weapon shot down, destroyed ancient kingdom, left holding ground, which put down to underwater seams that flow into the knock-up stream, and that's where I'm not going to go into too many spoilers for the main series, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I love whenever the knock-up stream comes into play, because there's always the chance that that had something to do with the war and stuff like that. Yes, I know these are not canon events. But there was an island that got knocked up from the depths of the sea. The Sunny gets like an Emperor Penguin mode, which is really cool. They're all fighting in the water. We see my darling Bonnie. Oh, love her. I love all the worst generations showing up. Again, I just wish we had time to see them interact with each other other than a quick little banter. They have a couple moments where they're all racing after the treasure, or they're all going to fight the big bad, and someone's like, mostly Luffy, hey, stay out of my way, he's mine, and someone else is saying, don't give me orders, I'll do what I want, and it feels like that moment in Wano, but I don't know, it's just all so disconnected. They don't play into each other the way I want. I wish, I don't know how to explain it other than the characters don't feel like they're acting like themselves, but they don't feel like how they would interact with other characters to me. It's just like that could be any other person standing beside me, and I'm just going to react to them. It's not going to be a personal connection. Law has discovered that something is going on the island. They're being sold out to the Marines, something like that. He used the room ability to switch onto the Sunny and goes to them, not for help, just to kind of get away from Buggy, who's chasing him. And what I love is he's like, okay, I gotta go. I'm going on my own. Chopper's like, no, I gotta heal you first. And Robin's like, I'll come with you as well. And she calls him Try Guy, just like Luffy does. And I adore her using Luffy's nickname for La. That was just absolutely adorable, and I love it. Sanji and Brooke, of course, go with Robin, wanted to keep her safe. Not that she needs protection, but I will take any protection around Robin. Love her. And then they learn through sneaking off that the festival leader guy and Bullets, this one-note villain, it has plotted to make a buster call come on this island. And will we stop? Please just stop putting Robin on islands that are having a buster call called on him. She doesn't deserve it. I don't want her near any more buster calls. I do take back me saying that sometimes it feels like the characters aren't like they're interacting with the personalities. The dynamic between the characters doesn't feel right. I take back for one instance because at one point Luffy's saying, no, we'll help you. And Law's saying, no, I don't need your help. It's like, well, we're going to help you. It's like, do whatever you want. And I'm just like, yeah, Luffy's going to do whatever he wants anyway, regardless what you say. And near the end, when Luffy takes off, it's like, you didn't listen to my plan. And it's like, yeah, that is Law being frustrated that he's once again dealing with the Straw Hats, and Luffy specifically. So I did love that moment. We see the treasure. So it's identified this is Roger's treasure that was up on the island, and everyone's racing towards it, and Buggy's actually the one who gets to it first. So my tinfoil hat theory is the series going to end with the world believing that Buggy is the Pirate King, that he was the one who got to the treasure first and whatever, but the rest of the pirates population will know, no, that's just like a story that got put out. Luffy is the Pirate King. So I kind of feel like that's the vibe that's going to happen. Buggy's going to fall all the way up there that like the general population will think he's the Pirate King, but it's just like, no, it's Luffy. And I don't know if it'll ever get corrected. Probably the newspaper might have to put something out, but I don't know. Buggy getting to the treasure first and getting the treasure chest, running off, opening it, discovering that it has an eternal log post to Laugh Tale. I hate this idea so very much. I despise it, honestly. The fact that a Laugh Tale eternal log post exists. Yeah, no, absolutely not. There's no way that I'm happy that's not canon because, again, I despise that more than anything. So later on, when Luffy gets his whole hands on it and crushes it, yeah, no, that is how Luffy would react to this. He doesn't want any shortcuts. He wants to have his adventure. He wants to sail with his friends and piece everything together and go on the journey. It is the journey that is important, not making a direct path to the island. So the fact that we, at the end, get the flashback to Roger saying, how dare you make this log post, the person who needs to get here will have no use for an eternal log post. So he also knows that it is the journey that's important. It's making your way there. It is collecting all the history. It is learning everything about the world you have to learn before getting to the final island, and then, I guess, learning more and putting more together. That being said, the One Piece has said his accumulation of everything he's ever, like the treasures he's collected and possessed. So maybe you will learn everything that you need to learn before getting to Laugh Tale, and then you get the maybe final piece. I don't know. But no, very happy that both Luffy and Roger had no use for an eternal log post. I don't want that to ever become an idea. Speaking of Roger, I might as well bring this up now. The main villain is Douglas Bullet, or something like that. I'm calling him Douglas. I don't know if that's his name, but Bullet. Who used to be a pirate on Roger's ship. He had been in Impel Down, he had a really cool introduction, because that laugh of Blackbeard's iconic, and I love it. And he was left behind because he was, I don't know, too dark and hateful to even go with Blackbeard, maybe. They sensed someone was up with him. They weren't going to kill him, and they weren't going to take him with them. But he had been on Roger's crew, and he had admired Roger in a way that he was the only one to ever defeat him. He wants to be the strongest man in the world, or he claims he is the strongest man in the world. First of all, Whitebeard exists during that time, so you were not the strongest man. I don't know about now. Also, he insults Whitebeard at one point, calling him a foolish old geezer or something like that. Even though he was so powerful, like he died for his men. How could he insult himself by dying for such weaklings? Like that dishonor on you, dishonor on a cow, dishonor on everything. Because how dare you insult Whitebeard? I took that as a personal offense, so I hate this man. But I really could have done without him being on Roger's crew. It didn't seem to add anything to his character. His character overall seemed very flat. There were some notions of he had been betrayed by both allies and even enemies. Like, I think he'd been raised as a soldier and was betrayed by them, betrayed by pirates he went with, fought Roger, lost, seen the admiration and skill that Roger had and wanted to be fighting with him or surpass him in some way. So went on Roger's crew, but yet never took any of his teachings to heart to find strength in others. So when he is insulting Usopp, saying this weakling couldn't even defend a single treasure box, and he's holding him by the head and getting the treasure that Buggy had dropped with the Eternal Log Post in it. Luffy immediately moves to protect Usopp. It's a Clash of Conquerors hockey, and it's gorgeous, and it's wonderful, and it's great. It's epic. It really is. And when Luffy eventually is knocked down, it's Usopp who is the one to stand up and try to protect his captain, saying, my captain is putting his life on the line for me. I can't be napping right now. He's shooting the green stars out, the growth of the plants, and he's able to get Luffy away. Usopp is the standout character in this movie, and I love that for him. It is everything I love about his character. He is a coward, but when it comes down to it, he will risk everything for his captain, for his crew, for his friends. And he catches fallen debris that is going to crush Luffy. He protects Luffy with his life and soul, and I love it. And thankfully, Soul King comes to save them both, and Chopper is able to heal Luffy through Usopp's insistence that he heal Luffy first. Again, I love that Crocodile just randomly showed up, and it made me realize, like, have we had an interaction between him and Robin since Alabasta? Because every time we see him, like, he was in Marineford, and then after that, he's with the Crossguard Guild, whatever they're called, with Buggy and Mihawk. Like, he tried to kill Robin before, calling her, when she was Miss All Sunday. Like, how have we not had a reintroduction of those two characters? So when they showed up together in the movie, he appears before her, and all I get is oh, Miss All Sunday, good to see you again. And how about we have them in a movie for more than 2 seconds? Because really, he just wants Law to help him out with his plan. It's a really basic plan. Hey, let's all attack Bullet here, who has the Devil Fruit power, which looks like terrible CGI. The animation in the last half of this movie was very distracting. I was not a fan. They're going to chop off all the pieces that he's assimilated onto himself, because he's more powerful when he's big and has more Conqueror's Haki infused into his body or something, or Armorant Haki. And if we just knock off a bunch of pieces, he'll be weaker. So Law's technique to get them there, and their plan is to cut off all the external parts that he's absorbed into himself to make a big weapon, will make him weak enough that Luffy can take him down. So I do plan, sure. I do love little moments of, like, Boa shows up, and her main concern is just where is Luffy? Where is Luffy? And when Luffy gets attacked, and he calls her by name, saying, "Hey, you're here. Are you okay?" Even though he's just been beat down, she's like, "Oh, he cares more about me than myself. I can die happy." And I love her. She's so, oh my god, she has a personality. Let's just put it that way. And then she's like, "You attacked my beloved twice, not once, but twice. How dare you?" And she runs and gives him a brutal kick. It doesn't do as much damage as I would like, but my god, it looked painful and powerful. I love that the red hack punch attack looks like it did some damage, just because that's my favorite attack by Luffy. I love Bartolomeo showing up and being an absolute fanboy towards everybody. I loved Zoro clashing with Fujitora, but it only lasted like a second. Like, they fight because Fujitora needed to show up, and then they clash. Fujitora backs off saying that he'll observe or something. Like, where were you for the rest of the movie? But he calls down a meteor, and I don't know if it's the Naruto fan of me or not, but, like, I love a good meteor coming down. Zoro ends up being able to slice the meteor in half, which was awesome. Love that. But then it's Mihawk who stands in the background. He has showed up and ends up destroying it into 1,000 million whatever pieces. And I'm like, oh, that is awesome. And then he's like, "This is above my contract. I'm leaving. This is not my problem anymore," which is very much in his character. But I do like that we're showing the discrepancy between their powers. So Zoro was able to cut in half, not sure how to finish off the meteor, and Mihawk's just like this, easy. So I do like that element. I loved when Bullet first showed up. He's claiming that he's the strongest and therefore the only one suited to be King of the Pirates. Luffy did not take that lying down. Anytime this man said that he would be King of the Pirates, like, no, the one who will be King of the Pirates is me. And, oh my god, I love whenever anyone declares Luffy to be King of the Pirates or will become King of the Pirates. I love near the ends where he's fighting him, and who is it that tries to get in the way? I think it's Crocodile and Lucci. Lucci shows up. He's there. He's barely in this movie. Why is he barely in this movie? I hate this man. I hate Lucci so very much, but he's one of my favorite villains in One Piece besides Doffy. Oh my god. But Zoro and Sanji both clash with them, and it's just like, don't get in our captain's way. And I love those moments. Oh, the wings of the Pirate King protecting him and clearing the path for him. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I loved that Big News Morgan was there, and at first he's just this looming shadow on a TV monitor, and he kind of stays just on a TV monitor. But, like, he's just there for the story and the scoop and seeing how things are going to play out and probably wondering how he's going to manipulate things to get things how he wants. I would love for Morgan, Big News Morgan, to play a huge role in the final arc, and I think he is. Whether he will be on our side, a villain, neutral, chaotic neutral, I don't know what kind of role he will play, but he's out for himself. He's out for the publicity, and the story. Whether it be the truth or what he wants to interpret as the truth to make others believe what he wants them to believe, I cannot wait. I also can't wait to see his, like, human form, because he's always in the albatross form. So, like, he could be sneaking around and no one would recognize him. I want something with him so bad. I love that Nami was using Zeus to fight. I love Nami so very much. I love that she's not a strong fighter, but I love when she got those power-ups, so her using Zeus. Oh my god, I love Nami. I love Nami. I love Robin. I love them all. Hina, I didn't even mention her. She shows up. Everyone's here. So she is one of my favorite, is it Vice Admirals? Something like that. Just cause I just like her powers. She talks in like third person ones. I liked her. She got these cages that come out of her arms or sleeve or something. The Black Cage Division. I love her so very much. So Smoker is also here. Did I mention like every character you love is in this movie for a brief cameo at least? So she's dragging off, Helmeppo and, Kobe and Tashigi. I totally remembered her name because Smoker's telling them to get out of the way as the Buster Calls pretty much in full commence or about to become in full commence. So she's dragging them off. Oh my god, I love her. I wish we did something with her character in this movie. I didn't even mention Magma Bastard. He's the one who gave the order to okay the Buster Call. So Magma Bastard's in this movie. Sabo comes and saves Robin at one point in time because I think there's falling debris coming at her and then just an explosion of fire. And we don't even get to really see them interact. And it's so upsetting because she was with the Revolutionary Army. Why wouldn't I want her and Sabo to interact in this movie? Show it to me. You set up so many cool character interactions and it's just a moment and then we're gone to the next plot point. Oh, I love these characters. I just want to see them hang out and talk to each other. Is that so much to ask? We got a lot of fights, though. We got a lot of really cool fights. When La is trying to explain the plan and Luffy's already taken off, he's like, all right, everyone else, just follow my lead. When I use room, that's the signal. And Sabo's just like, all right, I will trust you as Luffy's friends to keep everyone else safe or do what you gotta do. And La's just like, I'm not his friend. Oh, God, I love La. Oh, Buggy. Buggy he's running from Bullet's body that's coming down or walking or whatever, and he throws the Muggy Ball, and it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing, but it's around the same time that Lucci sends off his attack, and so that actually does damage, and Buggy's like, "Mwahaha, see my power." And, oh, God, I think Buggy's buying into his own hype sometimes, and that is entertaining as hell. So while everyone was attacking Bullet and all his different arms and everything he's accumulated, trying to weaken him a bunch, Luffy is up in like the atmosphere here using a giant elephant punch, ginormous attack, to bring down on him. And he lands the attack, but it's not quite enough. And Bullet's just like, if you had a little bit more power, you might have been able to defeat me, but at the end of the day, you didn't. I'm the strongest. You're weak. You will die. And that is when the Green Star seeds that Usopp had also put out there, it's a different type, I forget the exact name of it, start sprouting and surround him and crush him. And he's just like, those seeds are activated by force of impact or something like that. Is a sniper's job to lend assistance to his captain. And it's Usopp who saves the day. And I love that for him, that attack. Oh, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful to see that moment, for that to be the end, the payoff of it. Yes, 1000% yes. Unrelated, just gotta put this out there. At some point, I think it was Roger had said that not a single person lives to sail these seas alone. And it reminds me so much of Saul. And just being like, no one is born in this world alone. You will find friends. And I wish that Bullet had, if you're going to be on Roger's crew, you should take that message to her. You should learn that at some point in time during your journey. But no. And then, so he's defeated. Luffy gets the Eternal Log Post. You get the Marines coming after him and the Buster Call in full commence. And Luffy just crushes the log post before anyone can fight over it, because of course he is. He has no need for it. What's he going to protect that thing for? He doesn't want it. What happens next? They talk about Luffy drawing allies and enemies together, like these people who shouldn't want to work together do, and it's Luffy who draws them to help him in some way, and it reminds me of Marineford when Mihawk made that observation, and I still say either something to do with Luffy or Roger's will, the will of D, or something will be about drawing people to you and drawing strength from each other. I can see that playing a role. I can see him having to be the one, the linchpin, who will draw everyone together to form a unity, form a crew, or form some kind of alliance that will be big enough, grand enough to take down Emu. And the one with the pointy hat, however you say his name. And I can see it just being, having the ability to draw people towards you, to want for them to protect you and to fight with you and rally around you. And I can see that playing a role, and I can't wait for it. At the end, it's all the ships sailing out to meet the Marines in battle, and we don't know how they're going to get away. We know they're going to get away. But it's Sabo who puts a wall of fire everywhere, and Hologram Girl conjures the image of Ace to fight with him, and it's the two brothers protecting Luffy. And it's beautiful. It's the absolute perfect ending scene. I love that imagery. Loved it so, so much. Luffy seeing his brothers, and I love it. I love it. I love it. The ends, I think, is it after credit scene? I think it was, is going to be Roger talking about how they made it to Laugh Tale too soon. And ever since we heard this line first in the series, I'm just like, what does that mean? In my head, because I'm obsessed and I want to go to the underworld, that means that they arrived too soon because they were still alive. and that in order to get to the real truth of Laugh Tale, the real history of the Void Century, to accomplish what really needs to be done, whether it be Joy Boy's promise, something, whoever needs to carry on the will of the Void Century, Ancient Kingdom, whatever needs to happen needs to be done at a very specific time, and they are there too early because they're still alive. And you need to get to Laugh Tale, you have to do something, die, go to the underworld to complete something down there. Why do I think that? Because I need them to go to the underworld, and I'll take any excuse for the narrative to get them there. So in my head canon theory, eventually they will get somewhere. You're too early because you're still living. Maybe Brooke can help them out with that. And they have to descend to the underworld, where they will meet Roger, who is waiting for him, as Whitebeard has said, and then continue on the journey, sail the river Styx on the Merry, because the Merry Soul will reach them in the underworld and sail them to their final journey and destination through the underworld, and then they'll go back up in the Sunny. We'll carry them the rest of the way. It'll be beautiful, and they can say heartfelt goodbyes to everyone they know, love, and lost. We can have a proper goodbye with Ace. It'll crush my heart and soul. I need this. But anywho, the more common theory that I see is there's a different log post on Laugh Tale that will lead them to a different location, possibly the Ancient Kingdom, something that takes like 100, 1,000, whatever, however many years to set, and it's not ready during the time that Roger got there. I like my underworld theory better. I'm just saying. Yeah, so that was Stampede. It is an epic time. It is a fun, fun, fun time. So many cameos, so many characters, so many fights, so many fantastic moments, but it feels like a series of moments, not a series of character interactions and narrative. It's just, how do we loosely connect this cool scene to this cool scene? And it's a fun time. I wish I had watched this in theaters with other One Piece fans. It would have been so much fun. But yeah, that is all I got. I'm going to probably watch Film Gold next. I just got to track down the copy I need to watch. And yeah, all right. Talk to you later. Bye.